Glance with Jody, Vance, and this is actually a second glance with Tiidal Gaming Group. And this is one of those things that hits all of the boxes for me over the course of my career and watching sport, and actually having a teenager who's very much into gaming, and not necessarily the competitive kind of gaming that he once was interested in, but really the character-driven stuff. And when I first told him about Tiidal, he got pretty excited about the concept of being able to one day be able to challenge his friends in a way that was almost like betting on the NFL or March Madness, exactly, or what have you. So let's dive in here with CEO Tom Hearne. You took over as CEO on January 4th, correct?
Correct.
Give us an update as to what that shift was about and where you have taken this company in 2022.
The company had just gone public back in November. And so it really kind of needed somebody to come on board to help with some stewardship, I guess, public market experience, raising some capital and all that kind of stuff that goes along with running a public company, but also just the direction on the sports betting side. And there's been a lot happen, as you can imagine, in the last 3 or 4 months in sports betting. Legislation opened up in Ontario, which was really exciting. And I think that I really do believe the Ontario market will set the standard for North America from a governance perspective and just from an overall market perspective. And so we're excited about that from an eSports perspective, but also just really establishing a good, solid business model for the guys and working with the team and understanding kind of what the products are that we have available. And we've been prolific in what we've been building. So we've been off to a really good start to 2022.
So let's let our listeners or our viewers in on exactly what Tiidal is all about. So it's TIDL is the symbol.
TIDL. TIDL. Sorry, TIDL is the ticker symbol. Sorry. Yes.
That's okay. Nobody's going to forget it now. Nobody's going to forget it now, Tom. I love a good mistake like that because people are like, oh, right. So it's TIIDAL is the name of the country, but TIDL is the stock symbol on the Canadian exchange. So Tiidal Gaming Group, you're headquartered in Ontario, correct?
Yes, we have a little group in KW that runs the Lazarus side of the business, which is kind of the competitive gaming and influencer side of the business. And there's myself, and then there's the group I have in New Zealand, which is my development team that builds our sports betting or esports betting products. And that's the one that I've been focusing on a lot lately with them, and kind of because they're the ones that are coming out with the most new products at the moment. And that's the one that seems to be catching most people's attention.
So I don't even know where to really begin here because there is so much to catch up on since last we spoke. As you said, just the evolution in what is now allowed. People have been waiting with bated breath for things to change in Canada and certainly in Ontario at the fore, as you mentioned. Let's talk a little bit about what Tiidal Gaming Group specifically has been focused on and really been gearing up since, as you said, going public in November, gearing up to hit the ground running on this very busy and rapidly expanding space.
So we've been really expanding what we're doing on the esports betting side. We had the pre-match odds, as you can imagine. We've expanded and added in-play betting. We launched our bet builder, which is parlay betting for esports, which is certainly more complex than it is in standard sports. Each of the bets is a lot more correlated, and therefore it requires a lot more sophistication in how you do the odds. We launched player props, which is a ability to now bet on your favorite players in different leagues and tournaments, etc. And we're close to launching as well a micro markets product where you can bet on live action within a game board. So if you're watching a Dota 2 game, you could look and see, you can make bets and evaluations on which tower will fall next, which player will get the next kill, which team will get the next kill, etc. We've been working in the background on doing all the data rights and other pieces that make those products essential. And ultimately, at the end of the day, I think the goal of the company really will be is to, by the fall of this year, really establish ourselves in the B2B space as having the best end-to-end solution in esports betting products and the best risk and trading team. And part of that is, I think that's an incredibly important feature in esports betting. We've established a risk and trading team of about half a dozen people that will probably double in size over the next 6 months that evaluates every single game, every single betting line, the settlement of each betting line, which is an area of historically a problem in esports. It's been a lot slower than you would anticipate in the sports betting business. And therefore, when people look to get a book of business or a product that can deliver them a book of business, they'll want to work with us because we've established ourselves as having the most accurate and best and most prolific set of odds in the market space.
So Tiidal Gaming Group becomes sort of a foundational space, a resource to navigate what is something that is moving so quickly. I mean, honestly, since last we spoke, it feels like this is moving. We've been all sort of being pulled back on the trajectory, and just all of a sudden it's go time. And there are people with great ideas, but the foundation is so required.
And we probably feel like that more so in Canada than elsewhere, just because of the launch of legalized sports betting. As I said, I think Ontario is going to be really important in the market space in North America. We're really one of the first to open up a broad spectrum of esports betting that is legal.
Right.
You know, Nevada and New Jersey have done it kind of on an event-based wagering, but I think that they're looking at expanding that. They've established task forces in both states to be able to like look at expanded esports betting. They're encouraging the esports industry to come forward with more ideas on esports betting. But I think if it can be done really well in Ontario by the likes of people like a Rivalry, et cetera, who are in the industry space, then I think a lot of other states in the US will see that esports betting can operate just as well as sports betting. You know, the integrity issues are really overblown. You know, it is a history of discussion in esports about esports integrity issues with respect to betting. But if you look at like the major leagues that ESL run, or the games that Riot and Epic run, et cetera, you know, they're like betting on the NFL or the NHL. Now, sure, if you bet third division soccer in one of the European countries, is there a higher risk of issues, or second or third division tennis? Of course there is, and same as there is in esports. So, but that's not where the betting historically has been. Historically, the betting has been in big tournaments with the big leagues, CSGO, Dota, League of Legends. And therefore, I think people will see that there's a really good market, a high integrity market, a market run by a group of well-run companies and very professional people in the sports betting space or esports betting space. And I think that a lot of the states in the US will look to Ontario and say, okay, you guys did it right. Now I can expand my model and feel less risky about incorporating esports into the overall betting scheme of my state.
So reiterating, Tiidal Gaming Group, TIIDAL Gaming Group, Tiidal, TIDL is the stock symbol, just to keep it real, TIDL on the Canadian exchange, and we're with CEO Tom Hearne. And Tom, we'd be remiss if we didn't mention that your history here with regard to sports and apps and due diligence and knowing how this works. I mean, really give a little, for those who didn't see our first conversation, a little bit of background on you.
I have a 9-year history at the Score. We were very focused on sports betting, as you can imagine. They've launched an amazing product set out in the market in Ontario, but we had looked at tons of different opportunities in the sports betting space. We lived and breathed it every single day. Not only that, but just understanding all the data feeds, the importance of getting the right data and the right live data into your environment in a very quick and seamless fashion. The Score did that in an excellent manner. My experience at Sportech was really focused on B2B delivery in the horse racing industry or in the pari-mutuel betting space. We ran the betting environment for 400 different racetracks around the world and commingled bets from all over the world. So we probably put around $12 billion a year through our books and our betting system. So, you know, Is that
all, Tom?
Well, it's substantial, exactly.
Yes.
So, you know, I understand kind of the space and the history, and even more importantly, I think what it really will matter to be a good B2B delivery partner. The quality of our product. That's why I really talked to the team and spent a lot of time focusing on the risk and trading aspects, putting not only just the broadest number of bets available, but having a high level of accuracy and integrity in the data that you give out. Nothing spoils consumer confidence faster than wanting to bet on something and then finding out that bet gets voided, If that happens a few times to you in the same book, you really start to lose interest quickly.
Yep.
I've had it happen a couple times in sports betting on really minor, stupid mistakes, but still, you're kind of annoyed a little bit. And so you want to make sure that your risk and trading group delivers the best available suite of products. And really proud of the team and what they've done over the last little while. We've really gotten focused on that. And I think that we do probably I think we do the best job in the industry at being able to not only bring up a game with the proper set of odds, with the proper time of game, with the proper players, but also close out that game quickly and settle everybody's bets quickly.
Very important too.
That's an important focus. And it's just as important in the bet on yourself part of the product, where we've been trying to expand as well. We've brought up partners recently like Skirmish out of South Africa, who started using the product set and started seeing bet volume through their environment. And again, same idea. You want to settle those bets out quickly. If I'm playing in Fortnite games and I get beat out, if I came in the top 10 and I won a little money, I want that money back into my account so I can go play another game.
Right. Take on my other buddy really fast who thinks that they can beat me this time. Yeah, it's so fun. It's so fun. It's mind blowing. I mentioned my teenager off the top because I do run all of my gaming esport through the teen, as a mom should. And he is more excited about becoming the legal age to be able to do this than he was about getting on social media platforms. Like it is, pardon the pun, or it's intended. It's a gaming changer. It's a game changer.
Yeah, and it's brand new really to the esports environment, and it'll expand out to more and more titles all the time. Depending on the geographic environment, different games have different excitement levels. Fortnite has always been really big in this space, has been Call of Duty. A lot of the first-person shooter games are where that really has kind of developed, and I think that there's an amazing environment, an amazing opportunity for growth. The other thing I probably have discovered over my last 3 months or 3.5 months here on board now is just how nascent the whole industry is. Everything's really just at the beginning. There's huge amounts of opportunity ahead. Even in sports betting, we've just kind of gotten started. And I think not only will we see a huge proliferation in North America and Western Europe for esports betting, but just in the nature of all the betting types available. And what will be available to the market. And that's really one of the areas we've tried to focus on to be a leader is offering lots of interesting and new products, betting products, and make those available to the market. Because that'll certainly expand the opportunity that a bookmaker has when they go direct to consumer with the product.
And you got a bunch of consumers who have been really sitting in their homes, in their bubbles, staying home and staying safe and practicing, and now think they're, pretty good at this and maybe want to try their luck at betting on themselves. I just think that whole thing is so fun, even for those who might not be into sports per se, but love the idea of being competitive and betting in a way, right? Like it just changes the landscape ever so little.
We're seeing a transition from people being focused on watching live sports to watching esports. And that market is growing every single day. And actually coming back out of COVID now, I think is actually going to be a great catalyst for it. We're getting back to the exciting LAN tournaments, the big tournaments.
Getting in the room.
The big competitions, the bigger money competitions. And that really creates a lot of excitement. It creates a lot of social media buzz around the tournaments. And it creates more interest from the betting side as well. And so that's just like there would be in, big excitement in betting a World Cup. There's big excitement in betting on Dota 2 tournaments and CSGO tournaments and League of Legends tournaments, North American championships, all that type of stuff.
We saw Dota here in BC. I was shocked at the amount of money up for grabs at that competition pre-pandemic. It's unbelievable. Unbelievable. For those who don't know, it's remarkable.
Well, they're in the millions for a lot of these tournaments for the prize money. And then you also fill a stadium full of people.
Media engagement, right? Media
absolutely.
Engagement, sponsorship, partnerships, like it's all there. It's all, and that's part of what Tiidal's bringing to the table as well.
Yes. Yeah. We work on the tournament environment. We have a lot of influencers. We have some of our players who play in these tournaments now. Actually, our Apex Legends team and our PUBG Mobile teams on the Lazarus side have done quite well this year. We've got a few people in some fighting games. Our NHL player Regs was amazing. And we've loaned him out to the New York Islanders to actually play on their 6-on-6 team. And actually, we just did a very interesting activation with Chevy as part of the Good Deeds Cup on the NHL final Saturday when we did when they had their Good Deeds Day. We ran an NHL shootout on NHL 22. It was more of a judge shootout, like a slam dunk competition. Sarah Nurse was there as part of the judges, Arda Ocal, et cetera. So we had some big brands and names. We got a lot of social media activation. I think we had 250,000 votes in a couple of hours. And so it was really an exciting day. And I think just another example of how we can activate from a brand perspective in that environment.
We are with I got to make sure people know where to find you. Tiidal Gaming Group, TIIDAL. Where is your website? So if somebody's looking for your deck, looking for some engagement with you, maybe asking about investment, where do they go?
Website is Tiidal.GG or Tiidal.com. Both work. We trade on the Canadian Securities Exchange. As you mentioned, the ticker symbol is TIDL. We're pretty easy to find from that perspective. Looking probably to over the next year or two to continue to kind of expand the markets we operate in. We just activated OTC and DTC down in the States so that we can trade down there. But focus mostly probably at this point on the Canadian market, given our size and our home nature, et cetera.
Very exciting stuff, Tom. Always a pleasure to chat with you. Make sure you check back in with us and keep us posted on this as things seem to be growing in such a quick fashion, as you said, just at this key moment in this particular space.
Exactly. Thank you very much.
Cheers. We'll talk soon.
Talk soon. Cheers. Bye.